Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel outside the target demographic. Today I discovered a thing and I wanted to show you, so let's get started. Part 4 of the Honda CL350 barn find project, and you'll notice there's quite a bit of rust pitting. Unfortunate, it is 54 years old. 53, I forget if it's a 70 or a 71. It probably came out halfway through one of the years, so bear with me on that. But I discovered over the weekend that if I use the same stuff I've been using on the plastics, which 4 days later still produce a reflection, and on the seat, which looks fantastic, the leather honey, that I can take all the rust pits that are currently on the chrome, and with very, very little polishing, I can get rid of quite a bit of it. So for some reason, I guess the same mechanism that allows the leather honey to get into the plastic and leather material to soak into the individual fibers and start breaking it up and making it a little more supple is the same reaction that you'd want to clear the chrome off. And you can see a very distinct line right here of where I had the original chrome pitting and the cleaned portion. Now this can easily be shined up. A little bit of oil and elbow grease probably shine that up better than it is, but you can already see there's quite a bit better reflection on the unpitted portion. Who'd have thought? So what I'm going to do is, for the evening, I'm just going to go around, I'm going to polish up all the places that has a little bit of pitting. We're going to see if we can't clean it up. Another thing I'm going to do is I have some PB penetrating oil stuff and PB Blaster. That's the stuff. And I'm going to kind of wax, I guess, try and polish this side with that. And this side with the leather honey. Thanks, vehicles. With the leather honey, and see if one doesn't result a little bit better. And more importantly, if by adding the PB Blaster to this chrome, if that won't help protect it from rust, break down the rust, make it, less dry, both mechanically and in appearance. So we'll see what it does. Everyone has a can of PB Blaster, so we will see what it does to the chrome. But let's see, what else can we do? I suppose I can do, we'll do this in the blaster. We'll do this in the leather honey, and we'll leave the coils as is, and that'll give us a baseline between them, and they'll all be next to each other. We're going to do a close-up of some of the pitting as it stands now. Again, a better idea of what the chrome looked like when I pulled it out of the barn versus first attempt with the leather honey. We'll get a close-up. Quite a bit better. So we have our befores and after. Again, the portion I already did. I did not do the exhaust. I did do the shields, and you can see they're already shining up quite a bit nicer. Quite a bit of red rust here, already gone. Basically just globbed it on nice and thick, and I'm gonna let it sit in the barn for about a week. Well, garage for a week. This place especially, I'm very interested in. If I can attempt to hold you steady, what I'm gonna do is put a little dollop on the rag. Okay, I'm gonna get that nice and thick, and just in sitting here, what I've been doing with the front is I'll get my fingernail protruding through that and just scratch away. Oh geez. So everything up here is already gone. Look at that. This has been soaking for maybe 7 minutes. A lot of it's already scratching off. I am using a rag. That's sacrificial. I need to get rid of it. I need to get rid of it. But that rust is just falling off. What is that? Half the size it was? Incredible. Incredible. So I'm going to leave a big old dollop on there. If you have a big old bird shit size like this, what you could do is get a paper towel, get it wet, stick it on here, and now that paper towel is going to keep the moisture in place, right? And then start breaking that stuff down. That's what I do with, oh yeah, bird shit on the car. It's not going to come off in the wash, so if I leave a sponge or a folded up paper towel, nice and wet, let it sit on there for a half hour, very likely to break it up. But that is now, so if this circle is the size of a human thumbnail, maybe not yours, but mine, I've reduced that by, 60%. Awesome. And it cost me 2 minutes of a circular motion and scratching it from time to time with a fingernail. But as I said, I basically globbed it on everywhere as much as I can do on this guy without removing the exhaust, which I'm going to have to do to get at the air filter and check it. And I believe I'm going to have to pull the carbs on this guy. So may have to drop the muffler, see what's going on, in which case we can see the before and after of this. Backside of that already did inside here, and it looks substantially better. A bunch of stuff on here, so much so that I didn't even know it had writing back there. Maybe you'll see that in the before videos. A little bit around here. This crossbar already looks better. This I did in the PB Blaster. The Leather Honey stock, just wiped it with rubbing alcohol, and then PB Blaster. So that's going to be our litmus test. I also did the control arm here, not the peg. I did this guy. I did this one. A little bit around here. I had a big old spot of rust here in the original video, part 1. You'll see that. It has gotten much better. And then, thanks Harleys. They love attention and to go in straight lines loudly. The last thing I did, the left side I did in the Leather Honey, the right side I did not. So you can already see from here that way, this rust is damp. It's a darker brown versus a red rust, right? And it's already looking a little better. These nuts are looking shinier than those. And I did essentially halfway across. So as I said, I'm going to let that soak for a bit. I may hit it 2 or 3 more times over the next couple days. And then basically all I'm going to do is run that through and just keep, zigzagging it, pulling, pushing kind of thing, and see if I can't sandpaper that rust away. But very little effort, as you saw on this dollop, and it cleaned up so nice. That was the biggest blemish on this thing, and it wasn't even that bad. It was a birthmark near the ass. So some people are into that, but we got that much cleaner than it originally started, and I still have quite a bit of Leather Honey left over from doing a crap ton of vehicles. While I'm here and had the PB Blaster, I went ahead and oiled up the pivot points and all, makes her a little quieter. But we're gonna let this sit for a bit. This is a halfway through the after, and then after a couple weeks, or after a week, a couple days, I'm gonna go ahead and polish this up. It's gonna look substantially nicer. Here we are 4 days later, and it looks fantastic. Haven't even polished anything yet, but just sitting on the plastic and the chrome has already cleaned it up. So again, I did this side, not that side, and you can see it's almost a little muddier. So this seems to have a little bit more shine to it than this does. Again, I haven't buffed it, but the rust just with my fingernail is scratching right off. So cleaned up pretty nicely. Let's see if I can get that a little better in camera. So cleaned up very nice. Even again right here, just by letting it sit, it started breaking up the rust a little bit. The exhaust looks fantastic. I'm interested to see how this starts. We're here. Let's see. with just my fingernail, I'm able to start chipping that up. So we have, I think I hit this with a rag, not with the brush or anything, because I didn't want to spray water up in here, but you can see what it looked like pulling it out of the barn versus with the wash and the leather honey. So it is cleaning up quite nicely. Let me go ahead and buff it real quick. We'll see what that looks like and see if we can't get it looking a little bit shinier. I did the leather honey up here, rubbing alcohol here, and the PB blaster there. Honestly, doesn't seem too bad. It seems like the rust has diminished a little bit, but I'm not able to scrape it off quite as easily as maybe right here. A single pass just came right off. Oh my gosh. I mean, with just my fingerprint almost, I'm able to scrub that off much cleaner. So again, this is soaking for probably 3-4 days. Let me go ahead and buff it and see how it looks. So I just spent the last maybe 5 minutes doing from here to here, and it looks fantastic. Much better than it did compared to this portion. So you can see right here, there, a little bit here, a little bit across the top here, probably some underneath. So it is making a very noticeable, man, that's already shining, a very noticeable difference. What I have found is, let's say you have a big piece right there. I've been using my thumbnail, and what that allows me to do is, it doesn't show up so well on camera, but for me, the reflection of my thumbnail off of the existing chrome finish really brings out that rust. And just by moving back and forth, I can see how much rust there is and what I need to get to. And then by using my thumbnail, and you can hear that it's just barely grabbing some of that rust, but it's really almost like I'm scrubbing some mud, you know, caked on debris off of it more than that, which is actually damage to the finish, versus a lot of this rust is just surface rust. It's coming off like trying to scrub dried ketchup off of a plate after it's hardened overnight. So with just your thumbnail, which is soft enough not to damage the chrome, but hard enough to remove the couple days soaked rust spots, you can do a pretty large section. You can see it easily. I'm not trying to work my way around a rag or anything. And then you will use a rag to finish up and just buff it, polish it a little bit. And that will return it to a little bit of shine. Man, that looks great already. Versus here, here, and here that I have not done. This area here I have. So a little bit of a buff and shine and a little bit of scrapage can get rid of even the larger debris with not a lot of elbow grease. And it lets you get in here and spend a little bit of time bringing it back. But I mean, I just did those 2 ribs in 10 seconds, right? So this is something that's going to be eye-catching, something that really sets the bike apart, the CL exhaust system. So I do want to spend some time on it, but let's continue buffing and scraping. Very nice. So cleaned up pretty well here. I'm having some difficulties getting this stuff off, mostly because these forks are in the way, which reduces my leverage. But all the other chrome has just slicked up real nice, including this. This almost had like a wax residue on it and cleaned up very nicely. This side did not. This is where the PB Blaster was. So would not recommend the PB Blaster for breaking up the rust, maybe for maintaining it after you get it clean. I'd say I've spent probably 45 minutes on this so far, and that is a tall ask, but this is a 54-year-old bike that has been pulled out of a barn and was neglected for 5 years. So, I mean, maybe one more by the end of the season after everything is warmed up and had a couple heat cycles, more likely to just start crumbling and falling off. But I would say it's cleaned up quite nicely. Even on this, all I did was run this through and pulled on this side, then pulled on that side, and just did like a shoe shine kind of thing. Cleaned it up quite nicely. And I have yet to wax or use the leather honey on the right handlebar, and I think I'm going to have to reapply it down here. But proof that it does work. I imagine there's better stuff out there. I believe Turtle Wax has a chrome wax that I have in my Amazon cart right now. This has taken off a great deal of the rust and wax and oil accumulations and stuff like that. So definitely has helped if you're going to be using it to shine up your blacks and get rid of the plastic oxidation and all, and make the seat look amazing. That is a 54-year-old leather seat, guys. That conditioner, that leather honey is, it's good shit. If you have it anyways, you can use it. I imagine I'll be comparing it to the Turtle Wax, but to break up the majority of it with a product that isn't even designed for it is pretty nifty neat. And that's about what we have for today. So as always, any questions, comments, concerns you have, leave them in the comment section down below. Next episode, I'm going to be troubleshooting why I'm not getting compressed or spark or fuel, whichever one it is or isn't, on the right cylinder. So go ahead and tune in for that. This is Outside the Target Demographic. I appreciate you guys coming by. Any questions, comments, concerns you have, go ahead and leave them in the comments section down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.